Hey everybody, this is id1356 coming at you relatively live. This time, I know it's been about a year, actually it's been about 10 months I think since I've made my last video. I'm coming at you with a different sort of game today. It's called Europa Universalis 3, with all the Divine Wind attachments, Death and Taxes. It's by Paradox Interactive. Death and Taxes is a special mod for the game, really fun, changes it up a bit. Alright, strategy games can be extremely fun, but sometimes they can get too easy. Well, EU3 is very different from that. It is a much more detailed game, and right now I'm going to apologize for any sort of background noise that there may be. My dogs in the background are a little bit noisy today, so I apologize for that. Anyway, so in this game, you'll notice all these different countries with different colors, so you can click on them, and they've got little statistics. You can play as any of these nations and do whatever you want, and it is not limited to Europa. You can actually kind of pan around. I could play as a Russian nation, some of these Indian nations over here, Polynesia, the Chinese nations. You can choose if you want to unify Japan, because here it's all broken up into the different daimyos. So what I like about this game is that it gives you a lot of freedom, and it's much more complex than the Sid Meier's game. We're going to be starting in 1356, which is an addition of the mod. Normally you start in 1399 in the original game. Some of the major changes in this, you'll notice that Burgundy over here has a lot more territory than this in 1356. That is because in 1356... never mind. That's weird. I thought it was different. Oh well. Anyway, now that I've made a fool of myself, let's get to it. Oh, here's a really obvious one. The Ottomans over here, you'll notice, are very small. They're still just a starting nation. In the Grand Campaign, however, you can see that they've taken up quite a bit of these Balkan areas. Byzantium is much weaker. For those of you who don't know, Byzantium was essentially another version of the Roman Empire, the Second Roman Empire, in a way. There are a lot of interesting factors to the game that I can't wait to explore. But for the moment, we're going to 1356, and we have a nation to choose. A lot of people opt to play as England. I've never played as them myself. France is another popular one because they're actually the most powerful nation. Despite not having that much land, they do have a lot of vassals and allies. You'll see vassal of France, vassal of France, vassal of France, so on and so forth. What else? You also notice here that Lithuania is a major nation. That is historically accurate. They were, in fact, a very powerful nation until they were eventually put into a personal union with Poland, and then it became the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth. And that's pretty much it. The game is fairly historically accurate. The vanilla game is not quite so much, but the mod makers for Death and Taxes do an excellent job at kind of keeping things up. Oh, and if you were curious, I could also play as some of these African nations. And there are, in fact, the southern Native Americans over here. For some reason, the mod makers decided to take out the Iroquois and the Sioux and tribes of that nature. Alright, so let's pick a nation to play as. I have played this game for a few months now, but I'm still not too good. So I think we're going to play with someone kind of easy. This is actually the hardest part of the game for me, is choosing someone to play as. I don't want to play as someone too small. I'm playing a game on my own as Brandenburg, and that's going kind of well. I've done the Teutons, that was really fun. I unified Italy under Milan, that was lots of fun. Kind of difficult though. Alright, so let's try a game as Castile. You know, let's try Scotland or Denmark. Let's go for it. Let's try Scotland. We're going to turn up the difficulty to hard. I might lose this, so I apologize if I do, but hey, it happens. Lucky Nations is an option that has historical sort of boundaries. That means that as Scotland, I would have a tendency to lose to England. And England would have an advantage. Nations like France, Austria would have a huge advantage. So we're just going to turn that off completely. And let's get to it. Scotland. Now, the game is not particularly aesthetically pleasing. This isn't that interesting. the Old Alliance. As long as there is an England, Scotland, we have long maintained an alliance of sorts with France to secure ourselves against them. It is time to renew the Old Alliance. Alright, so, if I can zoom out a little bit here. Just see if I can. Alright, cool. Alright. Just trying to think for a minute. Yeah, I guess so. Let me see if I can just go to controls for a second. Game options, controls, scroll speed, higher, not scroll speed, zoom speed. Apply. No. Alright, I'll try to fix this in the next time I start up this game. Anyway, here's the terrain map mode. It tells you a little bit about the weather and the actual terrain. Not terribly interesting. The most popular way to play is on the political map mode because it actually shows you boundaries fairly accurately and it kind of shows you what's going on in the world. What else do we have here? We've got religious map mode. Alright, so if you can't tell, Catholicism is the dominant religion over here. And that is true until about 1500 when the schism occurs. Protestant Reformation and the Great Reformation in general will occur, and we'll see new sort of religions spawn up, new Christian religions. There is, however, another major player in terms of the Christian religions, and that is the Orthodox people over here. Now, I apologize for the lag. The computer isn't particularly great that I'm playing on. So actually, what we're going to do for the moment, maybe I can change this in later videos, but I'm not sure since this is the first time I've done it on this one. I'm going to turn the advanced water off. Oh, of course I would do that. Advanced water off. Now, if you can't notice, this will make it look very, very, very dull. In fact, I don't like this at all. So we're going to try it with the advanced water. I will only do this if I have to. Apologize for this, guys. Alright. Anyway. We haven't done a single thing. This is a grand strategy game. You'll notice all these different provinces. There is no main objective. We set our own. The game actually prescribes objectives, like that one that popped up a few minutes ago, called your missions, which are granted by God, so on and so forth. For example, right now, we have to have relations with France better than 150. And currently, we are at 85, so we've got a bit of work to do. So, this is the diplomatic sort of options that we have. Actually, before I get into this, let me finish going through the map modes. Alright, so you've got your major religions. You've got your... you have Orthodox in sort of the Russian area and down here in the Balkans. Then there's Sunni, which are namely... most of the Muslim nations are Sunni. There are a few that aren't. I think the Jailirids... no, I guess they are, huh. Trebizond, Aretinids. Anyway, in case the other religions that we'll eventually find out about are Shiite and Confucianism and Hinduism and so on and so forth. Shiite generally has a pretty strong foothold over here in the I guess over here in the more Persian area, and then over here in Asia there are different religions. Shintos in Japan. The tribes over here that we can't see yet because they haven't been discovered have their own religions. But generally the Christian religions seem to be the strongest out of them. They give the most bonuses. I'll switch right over to here, and you'll notice good tolerance for your own faith is good. Being Catholic means that you get +1 colonists, plus 0.25 missionaries, +2 diplomats, 20%, and so on and so forth. All these factors are important. Alright. Anyway, let's go back to the map mode. Imperial map mode. So the Holy Roman Empire is around in this game. They have their own little branch over here. We are not part of it. It seems that Bohemia is the emperor now, as they always are at the start of the game, but Austria is likely to take it from them, which will suck for Bohemia. Oh well. There are different penalties for taking imperial territories without having cores on them. Cores are these little sort of emblems down here. They mean that they give you the most bonuses out of all of your provinces. So that's the Imperial map mode. We're going to try to avoid most of the Empire for the moment. Burgundy is there, but we'll see what happens with that. Alright, so diplomatic map mode. Once we have better relations with people, we'll be able to see different sorts of changes. This will hopefully be green with France. Alright, region map mode, not hugely important. More important is the culture map mode for unification decisions, such as forming Germany, which isn't present at this point in the game. Germany was not around until late into the 19th century. Prussia will eventually get formed, but in order to form Germany, for example, these sort of magenta states, you need 25 of them, you need to be the emperor, so on and so forth. To form Italy, you need to have all this Italian culture. To form France, if France isn't around, then you have to unify, you have to have all the French provinces, and so on and so forth. That's not hugely important for us in this game. Sphere of influence, you can spend prestige up here to people in your sphere, and that can be helpful, but is not going to be hugely important at present. Revolt map mode, if we have problems, this would be red or dark brown or something of that nature, and it would mean that we're going to have revolts, which are always kind of sucky. Colonial map mode, colonizing the New World, you need to have this area in green. It expands as you get different tech levels and so on and so forth. Economic map mode tells you which of your provinces make the most money for you. I skipped over one. Trade monopolies, or trade map mode. Centers of trade, really good way to make money. You'll notice that some of these are striped out. That's because at this point in the game there are a lot of trade leagues which get special agreements and they make a lot of money, you don't, so on and so forth. Manpower map mode. Manpower helps decide how fast you replenish your troops and how many you can have. We have 7,620 in reserves. Fort level map mode, not that interesting at this point of the game. There are a couple of level 2 forts, but for the most part they are level 1s. Easiest to siege. If you get to level 6, they're like near impossible to siege. Stability cost, similar to Revolt map mode. Stability, +1, its highest is +3, its lowest is -3. It helps your, you get more taxes, more merchants, you can kind of read through that, more magistrates. Technology map mode, we're all kind of the same right now. The game hasn't actually started yet. You'll notice that the Golden Horde is kind of an orange color. They are lower on us. Red, dark red is the lowest. The Christian nations, well, the Western nations, I should say, have a tendency to be stronger technologically because they're in the Latin tech group, and that trains technology faster, cheaper, and just is overall better, which affects military units, our social policies, etc. Trade value map mode, I couldn't tell you what this means other than that the blue ones are gold provinces. Always fun. Supply limit. Each of your provinces can support a certain amount of troops, and if you have access, you can support a certain amount of troops. You'll notice that 21 are our supply limits. Supply limits are higher with provinces that are either your capital or near the water. Very useful, because when you don't want to take attrition, you get war exhaustion unnecessarily. Buildings map mode, nothing to say there. Recruitment map mode, if I was recruiting people, then it would tell me. If I was building ships, then it would tell me. Missionary map mode. From time to time, especially when the Reformation occurs, we will have different religions pop up in our provinces, and we will be able to choose to convert or to stay, and then we can use our missionaries accordingly. For example, Lithuania is right now animist. They are not yet Catholic. They will eventually. Usually they do anyway. Which means we can't have a royal marriage with them because they're not in the same religion group. Animist, I believe, is the worst of all the religions. But, you know, teach their own. They'll eventually convert. They almost always do. Alright, so that's a whole lot of talking and nothing has happened, and we're not even ready to start doing anything yet. So, we're going to zoom in on Scotland here for a moment. Alright, welcome to Scotland. We currently are in possession of 6 provinces, and we have a navy consisting of 3 transport boats, which are cogs, and 6 carracks, which are big ships, which is kind of nice. They're very expensive to build. And we have an army of 3,000 troops standing here in our capital, Fife. I apologize if I mispronounce anything. I'm not professional at saying names. Anyway. So, here we are. We don't have any general, which kind of sucks. Some nations start out, we don't. Alright, this is our military tab. Over here, if you click on the button, this will pop up. This is what will show us how many military units we can support. We can support 10. We aren't paying for them right now. We don't need to be. I usually like to pay for naval because it's so cheap. So, whoops. What else can I show you? It shows us our relations with people. The papal states are our best. England's pretty alright. This is Norway over here. They own Orkney and Theodore, or Feroyar, and Iceland up there, but I don't want to spend time panning around. Alright. Cool. Sorry. Okay. So now that I've kind of wasted everyone's time, let's look at our economics. Alright, we gain 25 gold a year. We lose 1.27 a month. That's not great. So at the beginning of the game, most people start out fairly in the Federalist branch. These are your different social policies. As you can see, we have quantity over quality. Land is favored over naval, which is odd. Offensive and defense is even. We're very mercantilist, which is interesting. We are slightly narrow-minded. We're very into serfs, which is quite bad. And we are highly aristocratic. And we're going to have to change some of this, because in order to adopt these good national ideas, which will come into play later, as our technologies increase, particularly our government one, we are going to want different sort of qualities. So for the moment, we're going to try to become more centralized. This will probably incur a revolt, which is going to be annoying, but hey, that's life. Oh, we lost stability. That isn't so bad. Stability is important. Why didn't that just make a sound? Hold on a second. I apologize for having to do all this setup. Someone else uses this computer and they have a tendency to... Oops. To kind of fudge around with the default settings. Alright, so we have 0 stability, which we need to work on. So we're actually going to spend our money, our technology's money. Actually, we probably won't need to because we're such a small nation, so never mind. We'll give it a little bit of priority. We don't need to mint anything right now. We will as our economy gets worse. I guarantee you it will. And then it'll eventually get better, hopefully. Cultural tradition, great men of the court. You'll notice this chair icon up here. We have a king, no legal heir, which is very bad. And we can get some advisors. Production efficiency we won't need. No. We will need you. Because he will help train our government tech. Very, very useful. Because how much money are we spending in government? 0.8? Well, there's no point in spending money in government because it's already getting quite a boost. And that'll help us in other branches for the moment. Hey, not to explain. Religion screen. I think I've shown this before. This is a little too loud for me. And, alright. Let's build ourselves one more chevauchée, maybe? I don't know. And another medieval infantryman to kind of beef us up a bit. England is our most immediate threat, so we're actually going to give them military access. Hopefully they'll take it. And our mission is to improve relations with France, so we're going to marry them. We're also going to try to spread our seed around a little bit, maybe try to marry Brittany. And Burgundy would be kind of cool. And actually Denmark is a really good one, because actually instead of Denmark, let's do Norway, because Norway is independent at this point. In later points of the game, oh, they don't want it. I guess they're going to... they want to attack me. See, that's going to be dangerous. Good to know, good to know. So we're going to try to get a war marriage with Denmark. And here's the ledger. Lots of information here. Couldn't tell. So the greatest military might is the Golden Horde, as per usual, then Bohemia, as per usual, then Yuan, as per usual, then Lithuania, and so on and so forth. But we are interested in Norway, where are you guys? Oh, sort of by name, or country. Norway, they have 3,000, so they tie with us, but how's their navy? It's probably better than ours. Okay, Norway, 7, yes, they've got... Actually, their navy is worse than ours, which is great for us right now. We're going to spend some cultural tradition on a really bad artist to help improve our stability. It's going to cost some money, which is annoying, but hey, no give, no get. And then we'll be able to make paintings from the prestigious side once we have more money. So we don't want to do anything for the rest of the year. Let's start up the game. We're going to rev up time a bit. And let's start. Alright. So we got our royal marriage. We got royal marriage, sweet, we got our royal marriage with France. Did we give them accent? They didn't take it. Oh, that's not good. Excommunicated ruler. So the Pope, the papal controller, has called for the excommunication. Right now that's Brabant of somebody. Sweden wants to ally with us. That'd be kind of nice because they're right next to Norway. And Sweden has a tendency to kick Norway's ass, which is awesome. Right now the sounds aren't working. I'll fix that for the next video, I hope. And, alright, so we're going to take this alliance. Hopefully it won't lead to anything too bad. If anything, we just reject it, and that's not nice. Here's our log. Who just got excommunicated? I wasn't able to see in time. It was somebody. Holland. And, of course, the phone's ringing. Hold on just a moment. This is going to keep ringing. I apologize. I can't do anything about it. I'll try to edit it out. Alright, so what is England's mission right now? They're war with France, so we don't have to worry about them quite yet. Yeah, recover Normandy, because at this point, Normandy, England wants Normandy. Notice how they have a core on it, as does Normandy, the nation itself, and France. France owns it. England has lands in Calais and in Gascon and Labourd. You'll notice Spain isn't unified. A lot of the big nations that we're used to seeing are not yet unified. Anyway, let's keep going. Going through the months, not doing anything too interesting. We've got royal marriage offers that I can't hear, so normally it makes kind of a clicking sound. Anyway, let's zoom out a bit, and just because it's a little bit more interesting on this map mode, to kind of see it on the big picture. Switch to diplomatic. You'll notice we have royal marriages with them. They're in allied with us, so they're kind of a aquamarine color. Alright. Cool. We have another royal marriage with Leinster. So I think we're almost, with the exception of Munster, we are married with all of Ireland with the exception of England. We don't have any diplomats. We get 7... Oh, that's a lot of diplomats per year. I'm pretty happy about that, actually. Let me edit this. Oh, our stability has gone up. Excellent. Burgundy wants an alliance. That's tricky, because Burgundy is a very strong ally. However, they are often at war with France, and our mission right now is to improve relations with France. So we're going to turn that down. Hopefully we'll get an opportunity for it again. Usually France will kick Burgundy's butt at the end of it, but it happens. Let me just switch this off. We don't want to see we do want to see that, but we don't want to see this. Alright. So, we're trying not to spend any money, so we're not giving France any gifts. Sweden wants a married... Sweden is asking for our help against who? Denmark. Alright. Denmark is fairly stronger than we are. So, if we're going to go to war with Denmark to fulfill our alliance, then we need to take a look at their navy and such, because their navy is certainly stronger than ours is, which sucks. I really like having a big navy. Yeah, 310, 5. We have more big ships, but they have more galleys and more transports. So actually, I think they're fairly even balanced. Nobody can quite figure out how the naval combat system works, but they definitely have a bigger standing armor than we do. In the beginning of the game, the AI tends to use mercenaries more than having a standing army. Useful, but I prefer having a standing army. Yeah, Denmark has 7,000, we have 5,000. Let me see if I can figure out this audio stuff right now, because this is actually really bothering me. Effect volume. Audio, video, game. Yearly autosave it. Alright, it says that it's on. I'm not too sure about that, though. Yeah, no, it's not on yet. I might have to restart the game. But I'm not going to do that for this very moment. So, let's save. Our game is Scotland. Here we are, just going to take a moment. It'll autosave at the beginning of every year, but I like to save every once in a while, just because the game can crash.